everyone, my name is Marissa and I'm going to do a tutorial today for the Potomac Bead Company, and today we're going to make, I don't have the whole bracelet completed, but these two little, this little part here is basically the whole bracelet, and it's not a component bracelet, it's just one continuous bracelet. And I'm calling this my Delicate Duos Bracelet. And the reason is because we're going to be using two kinds of duo seed beads. Okay, what we're going to need are iris duos. And I am using the Crystal Labrador Full. I don't know how many I'm going to need yet because, as I said, I'm going to do this bracelet with you. But each little part here has 4, and in between them, connecting them, is another one. So we'll just wait and see how many we're going to need. We're also going to be using super duos, and I'm using the opaque green. You're also going to need rondelles, and I'm using Potomac Bead Company's crystal rondelles in the 2x3 in the opal color. And for each one, you're going to need 4 here on the top. You're also going to need 3 sizes of seed beads. You're going to need 15 O's. I'm using the Miyuki Metallic Mix. You're going to need 11 O's. I'm using the Miyuki Champagne. And you're going to need 8 O's. And I'm using the galvanized gold in the Miyuki brand. To tie my bracelet, to fasten it, I'm using a cut button, and this is actually one of the newest colors. It's the Crystal AB. To string everything together, I'm going to be using Wildfire thread in 0.006 in the color white, and you're going to need 2 needles, size 10 will work. Tools you might need will be scissors or a thread burner, flat nose pliers, and that should be it. So go ahead and get your materials together and we'll get started. Okay, so I got my materials and I hope you did too, and I'm really excited to do this little bracelet because I liked how that little practice piece came out. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is put our cut button. And I didn't make little piles of this. I just had them on there, but here we go. Okay, let's put on our cut button first. And since I'm using the opal rondelles, I think those would be too blendy, so I'm just going to decorate the top with some 11 O's. So let's get 3 11 O's on either needle, doesn't matter which one. Let those drop and then bring one needle into one hole and the other needle into the other hole and pull. And we've just decorated the top of our cut button, which once again I have to say, this is such a pretty color. I know it's just Crystal AB, but it's really pretty. I like it. So now on each needle, let's pick up 2 11 O's on each one. Let those drop. Let's pick up one more 11 O and let's cross through it. So one, it's going through, it's already in this needle and this needle has already gone through it. I'm going to take my other needle in my other hand and go into it, but in the opposite direction. So we're going to cross. And when you pull, just double check your threads on your needles to make sure that you have the same amount of thread on each needle. That way you don't run out of thread on one side. Okay, now let's pick up another 11-0 on each needle. Let it drop. And let's pick up our first iris duo. Now, these iris duos do have a top or a front and a back. The front part is rounded and curvy. The back part is flat. We want to make sure that we always have the curvy or puffy side up. So let's take one needle, the needle in your right hand into the right hole, the needle on your left hand into the left hole, and pull. Okay, and this is what we have. All right, so now we are going to pick up, because now we're going to start doing the base part. Now for your base part, it's going to consist of our iris duos and our super duos. So let's get some super duos on this mat. Okay, so let's pick up 2 11-0s on each needle. And let's pick up an iris duo. Now this iris duo, we're not going to pick it up with both needles going like the way we picked up this one. We're going to pick it up this way, vertically, I guess you could say. And then we're going to cross into this needle, into this hole, the hole closest to me, with one needle going in there one way, the other needle going in there the opposite way, and then you're going to pull. And this is what you should have. Now, you're coming out of this hole closest to you. The string is going this way, the string is going that way. Now you're going to get each of your needles, well, in this hand, your right needle, you're going to go in through the other hole. You're not going to pick anything up. You're just going to go into the other hole and pull. Put your needle down. Then take your other needle, go into that same hole in the opposite direction and pull. So now you are at the hole furthest from you in your iris duo. Now we're ready to do you can see it from behind, this part, the base part. So let's pick up a super duo on each needle. Let those drop. Pick up another iris duo on each needle. And if it helps to set them the way you need to pick them up, go ahead and do that, because you're going to take each needle into I guess it would be your right hole, because this is on your left hand you're going to go into your right hole. On your right hand you're going to go into your left hole. So this is how you should be going into your iris duos. And again, the puffy side is up, so I'm in there correctly. So let those drop. Pick up 2 more super duos on each, one super duo on one needle, another super duo on the other. Let those drop. Then pick up another iris duo. Now on this one, you're going to cross. So you need to pick it up like this again. Up and down. And you're going to go into the hole that is closest to you. Your left needle is going to go in this direction. Your right needle is going to go into the opposite direction and pull. And this is what you should have. Your first little flower. So from here, you're going to take your right needle, go into the other hole of your iris duo, not picking up anything. take the needle in your left hand, go into that same hole in the opposite direction. Once again, not picking up anything, and pull. So now you're coming out of in opposite ways on the other hole of your iris duo. Now we're ready to do our little connecting part. So pick up 2 11-ohs on your right, on your left. Pick up 2 11-ohs on your right, and let those drop. Now pick up another iris duo, and this time you're going to pick it up like this, horizontally, with your left hand needle going into your left hole, with your right-handed, I'm going to do this one at a time, and with your right needle in your right hand going into the right hole, and pull. And this is what you should have. Now pick up 2 more 11-ohs on each needle. Is that an 11-oh? Yes. Let those drop. And let's do another little flower like this again. So I already have my 2 11-ohs. We're going to pick up our next iris duo. We're going to pick it up like this vertically with our needles crossing through the hole closest to you. So let's go ahead and do that. Needles crossing in the opposite going in opposite directions, and pull. Now we need to get these needles coming out of the other hole, the hole furthest from you. So once again, we're going to cross without picking up anything, we're going to cross both of our needles into that hole of our iris duo. And we're going to pull. By this time, you should be fine with your thread, where you don't have to keep checking if you have the same amount of thread on each needle, since you've already gone pretty since you've already gone pretty far on your project. Well, not far, but you have quite a few beads on there. You don't have to worry about it pulling, your left pulling too much or your right pulling too much. It's going to stay the same now. Okay, so now we're coming out of here, the hole furthest from me, and we're ready to do this little flower part again. So a super duo on each needle, an iris duo on each needle, and since we're going to go in through it like this horizontally, the left hand needle goes into the rightmost hole. Again, make sure the proper side is up, the curvy puffy side. Your right hand needle is going to your leftmost hole, and pull. And let's pick up 2 more super duos, which is 1 on each needle. Let those drop, and then pick up your other iris duo, this one, the one that goes across from the one where you cross into, and we're going to go into the needle closest to us in opposite directions, and we're going to cross. So this is what you should have. So we're getting our base going. Now we're going to go not pick anything up on either one of our needles, and we're going to cross them again into the other hole, the one furthest from you or me. And let's cross. If the little flower loosens, that's okay. It'll tighten up once you pull. So let's tighten that up. Now we're going to do our middle connecting section again. You're going to pick up two 11-0s on each needle. 2 11-0s on each needle. Let those drop. Pick up another iris duo. This time we're going to go into it like this, horizontally, with one needle going into one hole and the other needle going into the other hole in the same direction. So this is what you should have. Now we're going to pick up, just the way we did here, two more 11-0s on each needle. And now we can pick up our next iris duo, again vertically, and we're going to cross in the hole that is closest to you and to me, making sure that your iris duo has the curvy side curved or the puffy side up, and pull. Now we're not going to pick up anything on each of our needles. We're just going to jump on over to the other hole, the one furthest from us, and we're going to cross our needles into that one. In other words, we're going to take both needles in there and they're going to go in opposite directions. Now we're ready again to do our little flower. So I'm going to do the rest of this off camera. And go ahead and put, when I did this, it didn't get smaller. It didn't pull, it didn't get smaller. So go ahead and do enough of these little flowers to go around your wrist, and as many as you need. And after that, I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I've already put in the rest of my flowers. And I went ahead and I ended it with the same way I started here. After the cut button, I did the two, crossed through one, and then put two, and then I went into my my iris duo. Okay, so over here at the end, I did the same thing. After the last connection part, instead of putting two, I did one on one needle, one on the other, and then I crossed through the third. Okay, and we're done with our iris duos and with our super duos. Now we're going to do the second pass of our bracelet. Before that, we're going to put on our loop for a cut button. So for this, you can either use your 15-0s, a mix of your 15-0s and your 11-0s, or just your 11-0s, whatever you like. So I'm going to go ahead and just do 11-0s. So I'm going to pick up one needle and put the 11-0s on there, enough to where I think the number is 26, but just check that. You might need a couple more. You might need, one less. Okay, so I went ahead and I finished stringing on the rest of my little flowers. And now what I'm going to do is show you how to put your loop. And how we're going to do that is after our last, well, you should have ended on a connecting part, like here, after your flower. So you put in your two 11-0s on each side, go into your iris duo with one needle going in through each hole in the same direction. And then the way I ended it was the way I started it. Here, how I did the cut button, the two crossed through the third, and then I did one on each needle, and then I went into the iris duo. That's how you're going to end it here, with one and one cross through the third. And then after that, I went ahead and I threaded my 11-0s for my cut button. I think I have enough, so I'm just going to go ahead and try it to make sure that I do have enough on there. And I'm going to come into this middle 11-0 where we crossed in just to test it. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to pull my thread and I'm going to test it to make sure that my cut button fits, and it does. It's not too tight and it's not too big. So from there, I'm going to come out of this 11-0 and I'm just going to wait there. Just going to have it wait there. This thread is coming out of the 11-0 here where we crossed. So I'm going to take this needle and I'm going to go in through all of those seed beads, all of those 11-0s. So this will reinforce it. And later on, we're going to get a chance to reinforce it again. I don't like to just reinforce it twice. I like to do it 3 times. It just makes me feel like it's more durable, so that's what I'm going to do. But for right now, we're just doing 2. And then I'm going to, I'm almost done here. Here, go into this hole where we crossed, this seed bead, pull, and I'm going to go into this 11-0 right there, right before the iris jewel. And then I'm going to pull both of my needles just to make sure it's tightened. Okay, so we got that going. It looks pretty good. Now, let's take each of our needles. So this is what you should have. Each one of your needles should be coming out of one of these 11-0s right before the iris jewel. So now you can go ahead and go into the iris jewel. Go into these 2 11-0s here with the needle on that side. With the needle on your right hand side, go into the iris jewel, go into these 2 11-0s, and go ahead and come out. There. Okay, so now this is what you should have. One string coming out on that side, coming out of the second 11-0, and the other string coming out of that 11-0, and you're back here at this iris duo. I want you to go into that hole once again, the one you're going to cross through that hole, through that first hole right here, the one closest to you. You're going to cross in through it with your left hand needle going in this way, your right handed needle, your needle on your right hand going in through the opposite way. And pull it just to tighten it. Now we are going to do the same thing. We're going to go into the other hole, and without picking up anything on either one of your needles, you're going to cross through that needle, the one going in one way, the one in the opposite direction. And so now you're going to be coming out of that one like this. Now we're ready to put our rondelles. So pick up on each needle a 15-0. Okay, so I'm coming out of the hole furthest to me with one needle going this way, the other needle going this way. Now we're ready to put our rondelles. So pick up a 15-0 on each needle. I have one in this one. I'm going to put one on my right hand needle. I'm going to let those drop. And then I'm going to put on a rondelle on each needle. A rondelle on each needle. Let those kind of drop a bit. And then I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and I'm going to cross through it. So cross through your 11-0. And that's going to sit on top. And now we want to do the same thing. We're going to mirror that. So we're going to pick up a rondelle on each needle, like that. Pick up a 15-0 on each needle, just like that. Let them drop. And then now we're going to cross on the iris duo on the first hole closest to you, with one needle going in one direction and your other needle in the opposite direction. So pull, and you're going to have a really cute component. Just kind of help it. And there you go. So now we are going to go into, not pick up anything on either one of our needles. We're just going to go into the other hole of our iris duo. My needle on my left hand is going to go into the hole, into that hole. The needle on the right hand is going to go into that same hole in the opposite direction, going to cross. Now we're going to go into these 11-0s, the iris duo, these 11-0s on both sides with my right and my left hand needle. And if you can't get everything all at once, that's fine. Just take your time. Now I'm going to pick up this needle and do the same thing. Go into these 11-0s, the iris duo. I'm coming out, but that's fine. I'll catch my 11-0s. 11-0s, pull, and now I'm coming out. This is what you should have. You should have gone through all of these here, and you should be coming out here. Okay, now let's do the same thing again. Let's cross each of our needles into the hole of your iris duo that's closest to you, not picking up anything on either one of your needles. Just cross your needles into that hole and pull. And now let's not pick up anything again and cross into the other hole. So we can be coming out of that hole that's furthest from you. With one. And now with the other. So you're coming out and we're ready to put in our little crystals again. So for that, again, we are going to need to pick up on each needle a 15-0, 15-0, okay, rondelle, another rondelle, one on each needle. Pick up an 11-0, doesn't matter with what needle. Pick it up and cross through it. So we should have this. Now let's mirror that and let's pick up a rondelle on each needle, a 15-0 on each needle. Let those drop and then cross in the iris duo that's directly across the one you're coming out of and cross into the hole that's closest to you. This needle going this way, the needle on your right hand coming out on your left side. Okay, so we just put in our second group of crystals here, and this is what you should have. Now I'm going to just do the same thing to the rest of your little flowers, and I'm going to do the rest off camera, and once you've done that, I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I've already put all my crystals here in the middle of all my little flowers. My flowers that consist of the Iris Duos and the Super Duos. So I got them all, and I am coming out of the Iris Duo. What we're going to do now is just reinforce, and let's go ahead and reinforce with both needles, because I like to have, or you can just do it with one, but I like to do it with both. That way this is, our cut button doesn't have just 2 threads, it's got 3 going in there. So let's go ahead and take our needles, go in through this 11-0, this middle one, and then these 2 up your cut button, through these, down, and then back here. And do that with both of your needles. I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I went ahead and I reinforced my cut button, and I've already started to add on my left side the 8 O's and the 15 O's that are going to go on the edge here. So for this pass, all you're going to need are your, you can put your crystals away. All you're going to need are your 15 O's and your 8 O's. So on this side, I'm coming out I reinforced, and I'm coming out of these 2 11 O's here. So what I'm going to do is pick up an 8-0. I'm going to go into the top hole of the Super Duo. And this time we're not going to cross into the Iris Duos anymore. I'm going to pick up another 8-0, a 15-0, and I'm going to go into the empty hole of the Iris Duo. I'm going to mirror how this looks, so I'm going to start with a 15-0 here, pick up an 8-0, and then go into this Super Duo and pull. Now I'm back coming out of this Super Duo. I'm going to pick up another 8-0, and I'm going to go into these 2 11-O's that are side by side. I'm going to go into the Iris Duo and come out of the 2 11-O's that are on the other side of the Iris Duo. And if you can't get them all in one pass, that's fine. So I'm going to go into my Iris Duo and to my Iris Duo. And then I'm going to come out of these 2 8-0's right here. I think I'm having trouble because my needle is a bit crooked. Okay, I wasn't able to come out, but that's okay. I'll just catch them after I pull that out. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the 2 11-O's. Okay. On this side, I'm going to do the same. Into these 2 11-O's. So I have both my needles coming out of these 2 11-O's right after an attaching Iris Duo. So, and I'm going to do this on both sides. So again, pick up an 11-0, go into the Super Duo, pick up an 8-0, go into the Super Duo, pick up another 8-0, a 15-0, go into the Iris Duo, pull. Now we're going to pick up a 15-0 and an 8-0 and go into this Super Duo after the Iris Duo. I've tangled my thread up here. There we go. Pull. Now pick up another 8-0 and go into, again, these 2 11-O's, this Iris Duo, and the 2 11-O's after. So I'm going to do this on this side, and I'm going to finish on this side, and go ahead and do the rest of your bracelet, and I'll meet you back. And here we go. I've already put in all of my 8/0s and my 15/0s on the edges, and all I need to do is to tie my knot. I'm not going to go through the loop, although if you missed it on your second pass, you could have done it, you know, on this last pass. You could also do some peyote stitch around it if you want, but our bracelet is done. All we need to do now is tie a knot. So I'm meeting my threads here between this 11/0 and this 11/0, and I'm just gonna kind of like force it to the back, and I'm just going to tie a square knot. One, and I do have to switch hands doing this, or else I won't tie it right. 2 and 3. So our bracelet is good, and my thread burner is out of batteries, so I'm just going to cut this for the meantime. Then I'll just switch, well, I'll fix that, but I'll just go back with my thread burner and fix it, make it pretty. But here we go. This is our bracelet. We have our little dainty Delicate Duos bracelet. Now, for those of you who are more experienced with beading, you could actually do your second and third steps together at the same time. After you put your crystals, you can go back in that same little flower and do your outside edging, and then go on to your next one. If you wanted to just do it all at once, you don't have to do it, do them all and then go back into them. You can do that. So this is how it looks on. This is on, and I thought it was going to be too big for me, but it's not big on me. I'm going shopping later, so I think I'm going to wear it. It's very pretty, very dainty. And again, it uses the new Iris Duo beads, Super Duos, and I use the Potomac rondelles. You could probably also get away with using fire polish beads, or even 3mm bicones or 3mm fire polish beads. But I really like these rondelles. In fact, once I started using the rondelles, I pretty much ignore my bicones now. So they're really pretty. They give the rondelles, because of their shape, they give everything a much more delicate look, rather than if you use something with a sharp edge. So this is our bracelet. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed making it, and thank you for watching this video.